We're going to cover a little bit what we covered last year, but in some more depth. So we have to go back to a few fundamentals to remind ourselves of what life is about. So, two thoughts. One that I think about all the time, especially with all the crazies that are out there in the world today. That's one thing. We're going to throw out one idea, and then a second idea of what our personal inhibitions are to live, let's call it the good life. So, first thing is that we always talk about how ideas matter. And most people don't really think about the ideas that underpin their lives. But ideas really matter. So most people, whatever society you're born in, whatever culture you're born in, they accept the premises of that society as fact. That's the way we live. Almost nobody thinks about, okay, where do these ideas come from? Who invented them? Do I agree with them? Do I not agree with them? Because we don't think they're relevant to our lives. So we think that ideas are for a bunch of idiots sitting in a philosophy class somewhere, and you just live your life. So take a guy like Usha Zelig, not Usha Zelig himself, a great dad, Abish Brut, raises him. He's raised in Brooklyn, comes to Lakewood, he's living his life. He's not studying Nietzsche, he's not studying philosophy. He probably never studied Rav Saadia Gaon. You ever learned Moreh Nevuchim, Usha Zelig? No. Doc, you learned Moreh Nevuchim? Rav Saadia Gaon? Kuzri, anybody here learn Kuzri?
Didn't learn it, but heard of it.
You heard of him. Anybody here learn Kuzri? How about 19 letters of Samster of Fall Hirsch?
None of us learned all these things. We only heard of it.
Right,
Ask
so
me if I learned Chumash Rashi from Shishi and on.
Chumash Rashi, yeah. So the ideas of life we so rarely examine, and that's that we accept that whatever it is, those ideas are ideas, and we live our lives with. The only one of this group, for me, I'm fascinated by ideas because I think that ideas really set how we live. And I'm always studying different ideas, different cultures. I want to get the whole of it. And Itzikel has probably some bug up his whatever from when his Rebbe started up with him that allows him to say, okay, I don't really know this idea. I like it. I don't like it at all. But ideas matter. If ideas matter, then our examination of ideas really can make a big difference in life. But we say, okay, I'm Christian, I'm Jewish, I'm Mormon. I'm reading a book now called American Zion. Eitan, if you want a good read, it's about the Mormons. Fascinating book.
Definitely.
What's that?
Definitely. But I don't like to read.
Yes.
Barcodes.
Yes, so don't read it. If you don't like to read, it's not your book to read.
We can get on Kindle.
You just give them the cliff notes.
Yeah, give them the cliff
You get the
notes.
audiobook.
So that shows you how all these millions of people became Mormon. Like, where do these people come from? And why are all these ex-Mormons who are leaving the faith? What's going on with them? But ideas really do matter for who we are and how we live. That's premise number one. The more we understand the ideas, the better choices we can make in life. Hopefully, because we're actually examining, it's called the examined life rather than the lived life. The second thing, and anybody want to comment on that before I go on? So for myself, I spent 2 or 3 years learning Moreh Nevuchim. You might have heard of Rav Aaron Lapiansky. So he has a brother, Label Lapiansky, and for years we studied it. Have anyone here learned Ramchal?
A little bit.
A little bit. So I taught Derech Hashem. It took us about 6 months to get through the first 2 chapters because it wasn't a book. It was a conversation about ideas that he posits about life, to understand life, to understand life at all.
Right. Different times.
What's that?
Different times to understand it now and then.
All right. So you guys can't hear Tully, but Tully's saying that there once upon a time was the notion of people being philosophical and trying to understand life and understand ideas. But today everybody's just happy to just live and
So
exist.
many distractions. Not that we're happy. Back then, there weren't so many distractions, so people with a half a brain were able to start thinking into different things. I think we spoke about it a few weeks ago. You saw connections, right? Today, you buy an apple, you go to the store, you buy the apple, and that's it. You just think about the money that goes behind it. Back then, you took an apple off the tree, or you went apple picking. You started thinking into the apple, where it comes from, and all that.
We were more connected.
We were more connected, exactly.
We were a lot more connected.
Right. Today, we don't have that
I
connection.
think,
We lost it.
I mean, like we learning Mesilas Yesharim from the Rabbi.
No, Monsieur Shum is not a book of ideas. So I want to differentiate. Ramchal wrote 2 books. I mean, he wrote many books, but he wrote 2
Listen,
books.
I'm happy I knew who he was.
Yeah, so Ramchal wrote Mesilas Yesharim and he wrote Derech Hashem. They're actually counterparts, the 2 books. Derech Hashem is the ideas of life. Mesilas Yesharim is the guide to life. And that's radically different.
What to do, what not to do.
Right, what to do this, don't do that, do it like this, don't do it like that, etc., etc. Most of the self-help books that you read in the world today are in the vein of Mesilas Yesharim, Benjamin Franklin's principles, do this, don't do that. But they're not exploring the underlying concepts of life. So in a sense, a lot of us are ignorant when it comes to the ideas of life. That's premise number 1. And the more you do that, the better off you'll be, hopefully, unless you come up with really bad ideas and then you get screwed. So in the frum world, a lot of people are afraid to explore the ideas because they're afraid if you start thinking about it, maybe you'll study Nietzsche and you come to a different conclusion, or Rousseau, or you'll study Aristotle or Plato or Descartes, whoever it is, and you'll end up with some crazy ideas, or you'll become a Marxist at all. But all these crazies who are demonstrating,
Are they wrong?
well, why are they demonstrating? I want to understand them first before I do a value judgment.
Obviously, these are the thoughts that they have.
Where did the thoughts come from?
Just going outside.
Overnight, these people just woke up and...
No, what do you mean? This is...
No, so where did the ideas come from?
It comes from the average, with a half a brain, you start thinking into these thoughts. These thoughts are there. Everybody has these thoughts.
No, but
There are
people
decide
suddenly
not to.
demonstrated against Jews, against Israel. They're not demonstrating against China. They're not demonstrating against Russia.
But you understand them, right? You understand them from demonstrating.
Before the understanding them, I want to know why are they acting the way they're acting?
Because they hate Jews.
No. That's not true. That's
Because-
Doc. I'm going to argue with you.
Jealousy?
No, that's how the ADL says it.
like Yidden, we claim that we're the Amanecha, right? And we go around telling everyone that,
It
basically.
is holy.
So
Loud.
we claim to be the Amanecha, right? So
We
that
claim
means
to be the
that
chosen people.
we're the chosen people, right? So by claiming that, we put out a statement that people want to disagree with.
Right. We're
So that's-
vulnerable. We make ourselves
ourselves
vulnerable.
vulnerable, correct.
Okay, so now these people who are demonstrating, suddenly, 2 years ago, you would have said they're not anti-Semitic. Today, you'll say they became anti-Semitic.
But there was
What?
always there.
But what changed from 2 years ago to today?
The first Nachshon, unfortunately, that's always
No.
what it is.
I'm not going to agree with that. I don't
Why?
think so.
You don't think that all
No,
they
I
had
think
always
what happened
inside?
is a set of ideas were introduced to mankind and were taught in universities
Rabbi, forget
for 30 years.
what 30 years, Rabbi. What about Tachvatat, the pogroms?
They're different.
Spanish
Every
Inquisition?
generation is different.
But the philosophy behind it is all the
Right,
same.
but the generations are different. So the
the way it
motivation.
played out is
Right.
different.
I agree with both of what you're saying, that the underlying hatred is rooted in our claim to be the special people. I agree with that. We've talked a lot about that. But the idea that
It is a bit of jealousy.
there is jealousy.
They want to be us.
There is jealousy.
So I think,
There,
didn't you say, Aaron, that this is a well orchestrated, financed decision over many years, looking at the funding of the American universities, where it came
That's
from?
the how. That's the how. But that's not their.
Versus
I
what?
want to understand their belief system.
The why?
So I think the belief, follow the money, and I think it follows you the belief.
But how did they get from A to B? How did the American student of the 80s and 90s be so friendly to Jews and Israel, and the American student of today be so unfriendly? What changed? You know what changed?
The education.
Right, exactly. Their ideas that they were told changed. And ideas actually matter.
So you think in the 80s
What
and the
were they
90s they
told?
didn't hate us?
These people were told that the Western civilization is evil, it's oppressive, and it's not fair.
Controlled by the Jews?
Well, they were
Why the
told
Jews?
they were told that their world is an unfair place and you have to seize power to make it fair. And the minorities are the ones who were treated unfairly in a hierarchical, patriarchal structure. And therefore, you have to seize power to take it back. And anything that represents the establishment has to be torn down. So I have a great story. Doc might know this girl, Meira Russo. She's a very close friend of ours, a Balas Tshuva. So her father is an Italian, non-Jewish, amazing person. An amazing guy, Wall Street guy, very special person. He's married to a Jew. His daughter becomes from. And it was very painful. It's another story for another day. But it was very painful for him that his daughter became religious. Really painful. Like she wouldn't go to Christmas parties. She wouldn't go to Halloween parties. She wouldn't go to Thanksgiving. She wouldn't eat in the house. She wouldn't fly on Shabbos. She wouldn't want to, New Year's, all those things are very painful for him. And he has twin daughters. Meira has a twin. Do you know what the twin believes? The twin went to London School of Economics, which the central idea of many at the London School of Economics is that the white male society had power for thousands of years, and they used it to oppress people, and now we're going to grab it back. And her life, Meira's sister's life, is devoted to tearing down the power. It's radical feminism on steroids, to tearing down the power that the white male has, which her dad has. So here's this guy. He's a wonderful guy. He has two daughters. Sends one daughter to university. She becomes a radical, crazy feminist. We're gonna tear down her own father is the representative of evil. She's probably, for all we know, marching with the Palestinians. White colonialism, tear it down, free immigration, all that. It's an idea. It's not reality. This is a set of ideas that were taught to her. And the other daughter becomes religious and says, no, the Jews are the chosen people. And the society that we have is not where it needs to be, but it has a lot of space to grow and develop, but it's definitely preferred to paganism and all. I love to read about the American Indians, because if you go to any average American college student and you say, our way of life compared to the Indian way of life, which is better? What will they tell you? Average college student. Do a Charlie Kirk on them. What do you say about it?
Our life is better.
They'll say it's better. They're more spiritual, more connected, more eco-conscious, more connected to the earth, that they were
Which
connected.
is ironic because they have none of that.
They have none of that, and they never had it. They were brutal, murdering people. They cut out the stomachs of babies and they put them on an anthill to die over days. They were cruel, vicious. They killed each other. They had slavery among themselves. All the ills of today, but there's this idealized notion that white man is bad, the Indians were good, they didn't have plastics, they didn't have chemicals. Chemicals are terrible, meat is terrible, all these things, and that was a better, more idealized notional world. So ideas really impact the way people live and act, but we don't think about them much. And then we wonder why we don't know how to live our lives and how important it is to have ideas. Point one. Point two. Every society has a concept of what the perfect man looks like. What is that perfect man? Nietzsche, famously, and I'm using him because he was the utter opposite of the Jewish people.
It was more in physics, right?
Right. His idealized notion was tall, blonde, handsome, disease-free, powerful, no moral conscience, driving toward a racial ubermensch, supermensch, that they had this notion of power, and that if you have power and you're strong and you're not weak and you're not
Straight up
riddled by
Teutonicus.
doubt or by guilt or by conscience, you that is the idealized man. So every society has this notion. Who invented that? This thing in different societies of this idealized notion? And really, the Greeks did, and the Greeks had a notion of nobility. So, we always talk about the Nazis because they are the prime example for us of evil. One of two. The other were the Marxists. But what was the SS man's notion of an amazing human being?
Also disease-free, perfect. Also Chthonius.
Disease-free. What else? What were the internal values? Those were the external. What were the internal?
Everybody be equal.
Strength, honor, and nobility. And they looked at themselves like they were knights from the Middle Ages who were defending society from alien hordes coming to change their society. So, like, they shall not replace of Charlottesville type of thing. Germany is being overrun by Mongol hordes, by immigration, by, today it's Hispanics, but then it was something else. And someone has to defend society. We're going to do it at great sacrifice. And it's our job, this is how they define themselves, to be what they call the hard men, that we're willing to do what's not comfortable. Of course it's bad to kill people, but we have a sense of loyalty to our nation, that we're going to be the hard men, we're going to do what has to be done. And this idea was driven into them over and over. Loyalty
And
to your
that
nation.
supersedes the idea of killing someone.
Exactly. Loyalty, loyalty, loyalty. Your loyalty. Every SS officer had the blood honor, the oath of honor, blood loyalty. Loyalty, loyalty,
But
loyalty.
you understand that idea really doesn't make sense logically.
Well, loyalty is a good value in of itself.
It's a good
Honor
value,
is a
but
good value.
To a certain extent,
Yeah.
right? It's a
Right.
good value not to kill someone because the same value, imagine somebody killing you
Right.
because of their values.
Right,
you,
but you would say that there are circumstances where it's okay to kill, right? So we all
Who the
every
hard gift? If
but
somebody
every
tries to kill you,
every society says there are circumstances where it's okay to kill.
yeah, but not for it's reactive versus proactive.
Right.
Doesn't
But they
matter.
didn't believe in
Still a
moral
circumstance.
conscience.
Right. So that's
They believed in tribe, and they view themselves as a Teutonic tribe, and the tribe is under assault by hordes of people who are going to weaken it and destroy it, and crime and disease and teeming cities of immigrants, and how destructive that is to order and all. For the SS man, his role in life was loyalty to his people, swear an oath. What makes you keep your oath? Your honor. Otherwise, you could break your oath. So they were drilled in that.
What happens if somebody bows to an idol? What's the din minatayr? Have to kill him.
Right. So we also have our spiritual values of right and wrong, as every society does. But in their world, they took the Nietzsche concept of supermensch, of what the idealized human being is, and they said loyalty and honor. And there's a very famous, I forget how the story goes, famous story from the Holocaust of this guy who, I forget the details of it, but an SS officer wanted something from a Jew, and the Jew was standing by the fence of a concentration camp, and the officer wanted something from the Jew, and the Jew said, "Why should I give it to you? You're going to kill me anyway. Like, go drop dead. Why should I do this for you?" So the SS guy says, "I swear to you, on my honor," it's a very famous story, "on my honor as an SS officer," and there's nothing more valuable to an SS officer than his honor. "I swear to you on my honor that I will not do anything to you." So the Jew said, okay. So the Jew did what he asked him to do. And then SS officer is about to get into his car, and he sees a Jewish child wandering near the Jew inside the camp, and the SS officer calls the Jewish kid over and says, come here, and he gives him a candy. And then he says, here, let me see your beautiful eyes. And he shoots the kid in the eyes, and he kills him. So that story always struck me because it was a story about how the SS officer's honor was real. He promised the Jew he's not going to hurt him. In that sense, once he swore it on his honor, his loyalty to his duty was intact, but he didn't have a moral conscience. So the story of Pinchas, this week's Parsha, is about the Jewish idealized version of what is the perfect human being. And every society has that. What is the perfect guy? In the Greek world, it was a great athlete who was a noble warrior or an athlete. There were Greek also had a lot of Nietzsche in them of the idea of what makes a perfect human being. A human being who is beautiful and sophisticated and polished and urbane and cultured and all that. The Romans also had that. In the Roman model, the engaged citizen who cared about the nation was part of their idealized notion. Parshas Pinchas is the paradigm of what it means to be a perfect human being in the idealized Jewish notion. So let me jump in here. Let me throw up on screen real fast. I know we did some of this last year, but we'll do it again. And we're going to come into this Pinchas. So anybody want to read for me the first two psukim? Go ahead. 11.
Pinchas ben Elazar ben Aaron, Nakain, Hechivus Hamasi, Amiel b'nei Yisrael, B'chanuas Kinesi, B'tocham, Lo Chiliti et b'nei Yisrael, B'kinasi.
I translate.
Turned back his wrath.
Go on.
So Pinchas, son of Azal, son of Aaron the priest, turned back Hashem's wrath from the Israelites by slaying among them his passion for me, as I did not wipe out the Israelites my
So,
passion.
in summary, Pinchas saved the Jews. So what do you get because you saved the Jews? Lochein.
Lo is Brisi Shalom, the pact of peace.
Lochein, Emor Lai, let it be said to him. Emor, let it be said. Hineni Nosalo is Brisi Shalom. So what does this mean, Brisi Shalom?
Why does he say it to him?
What's the Emor, right? It should just be Lochein, Hineni Nosalo, Brisi Shalom. Why are we using the term Emor? Lochein, Hineni Nosalo, Brisi Shalom, period. Instead of Lochein Emor, let it be said that I'm giving him my Brisi Shalom. But what is Brisi Shalom?
You always be at peace.
What does that mean?
It's a bond.
A
Peace
bond.
is a bond of peace, basically.
A bond between whom
It's a
and whom?
swear. Hashem and Pinchas.
Hashem and Pinchas. So Hashem is saying that I'm going to give him a bond of peace.
Correct.
What does that mean just in English? What does that mean I have a bond
I
of peace?
promise you that whatever takes place between us will always be peaceful.
Will always be
Ups
peaceful.
and downs doesn't become.
We're never going to have issues.
Correct.
So we're agreeing.
That's a bris that we have between us and Hashem also.
No, our bris is not a bris Hashem. We have a bris that we're the chosen.
No,
people.
right, not a bris shulam. We have a bris that
We have a
between us
bris
and
will
Hashem,
always
there'll
be his people.
Jews. This is a bris shulam. It's a different bris. I'm saying the bris, the definition of bris is basically no matter
An
what,
eternal
we're
pact.
always going to be
An eternal
correct.
pact. So
It's a higher
brisi,
level.
brisi means we have an eternal agreement. For the Jews, the bris is that we're his people.
Correct. And bris shulam is
Always going to be at peace.
correct.
So
Again,
do you think it's possible for a human being to always be at peace with God and for Hashem always to be at peace with him?
for a person that went so far as Pinchas did, yeah. I mean, Pinchas broke all the barriers of a regular person. The regular person wouldn't go as far as Pinchas went. So a person that went so far like Pinchas did, that type of person could always be at peace with Hashem.
So this is an exceptional.
Correct.
This is most exceptional that Hashem is saying that, I look at you and I know you're never going to screw up.
Why? Because what he did.
Because what you did.
It's not a blessing. It's not Hashem I'm giving you a blessing. Only the person like Pinchas, because what he did.
Therefore,
I'm giving you the Bris Shulam.
So, what would happen if Pinchas the next month would have said, you know what? Here's a cute shiksa,
But he wouldn't.
So
Then,
how do you know you wouldn't? Every human being is bechira.
Right, because what he did, right? He went above and beyond in every way possible. Where he was like in your main.
He transformed himself.
So he was a changed man.
Well, see, in a sense, he conquered his Yetzer Hara.
Correct.
Because if he wouldn't have conquered his Yetzer Hara, Hashem can't give him a brisi shalom. Hashem can give him a bris, whatever. So most people go to the next pasuk and get completely confused by it.
I'm confused by the last pasuk. So Pinchas skewers them, right?
Yeah.
And now he's giving him this brisi shalom. I don't understand that it's not that Pinchas should have peace in his life. It's between Pinchas and Hashem.
Exactly, Doc. This was not a guarantee to Pinchas that you're gonna have a great life.
It goes further.
This is much further. It's between Hashem and Pinchas, that Hashem and Pinchas together are going to have an existence, a relationship that will be eternal.
Right.
So what would be the definition of shalom in this circumstance? So it's between Hashem and Pinchas. What shalom specifically is he granting him, because he just finished killing people, right?
Right. So
That's Rashi says it. Right?
yeah, let me try to get this up. I can't see. I have to figure out how to do this a second to both see the text and to see you guys at the same time. Give me a second.
So Rashi makes it sound like he did Hashem a favor.
He did something that was so exceptional.
That Hashem
Here
in
we go,
return realized that a person that's willing to do that for me, Yankel Frieder went to jail for an Avtilcha.
Yeah.
Right.
So a person that do that for me, I'll do anything for you because you're willing to sacrifice the ultimate sacrifice.
Well, that's not enough.
Here, I don't know what he did.
Whatever he did, when we're going to get to that,
Something
was something that was so
something
transformative that it's a guarantee that there'll never be issues between him and Hashem. He'll always be living his life in harmony with HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Basically, he had the ultimate.
Yeah, so we're going to see in a second. Hold that thought.
Let me just ask one question.
Sure.
So was he living his life in harmony with Hashem when he skewered?
Yeah, but it was beyond that. Far beyond that is that not only was he living a life in that moment, he had had such a transformative experience that Hashem said, I'm never going to fight with this guy. Imagine you tell your wife under the
experience based upon him taking the action of the killing.
Well, we're going to come into the how and the why and the what.
Right.
But first we have to know what the relationship is. Something happened here that Pinchas Hashem. Imagine if you say to your wife or your friend or your child, I will never fight with you. So who here could say that? Can anyone say about anyone they love and care about that, I will never be in a fight with you? Of course not. Listen, Doc, we know what you went through. So, Doc would have said under the chuppah, of course, I love you forever.
You could say that somebody does something crazy,
Right,
out of the ordinary.
But that takes something so transformative.
Correct.
To be able to say you'll never have an issue with that person. Read the next pasuk, please. Read pasuk Yud Gimel.
So basically, this is the next level, and Hashem is giving them what?
What's the next word?
Read that.
It's a full now.
So basically, he's giving them, meaning he's giving them the priest, all his kids, right? They're going to be the highest of the highest. You understand? Right? I love Yechapel B'nai Yisrael. So basically, they're going to get the power in order to like leaders. They're giving
So most people get lost in the Zarei Achra Bris Kunas Olam. They said, okay, the Bris Shalom was that Bris Kunas Olam, he'll be a Kayan. But Bris Kunas Olam doesn't mean he's not going to mess up. Aaron HaKayan messed up, right?
Yeah, but he's going to only be forgiven as well.
So I would say the following: the Kailal, the grand concept here is Brisi Shalom. The way it manifested itself was in Bris Kuhunas Olam.
Which is another bris here.
Which is another bris, but it's a sub bris of the bris Yishalom, and I'll tell you why the pasuk says that. V'haisa loy.
I don't
What is
understand.
v'haisa?
How can you have a subris?
I'm going to read it to you. I'm going to read you I'm only going to read the text. Nothing that I have to say for myself. The pasuk says, I'm going to give him bris Yishalom. V'haisa loy to a bris Yishalom. What's the v'haisa? What will it be? What's the it?
And the grumma, it's like
Right, the grumma. It will be.
The zare achra, right? So
What is
therefore
the it? What is the
I
it?
have. I thought always a bris is like stronger. It's not a secondary thing.
Stay with the text.
Okay.
Never go wrong.
Right. But also like the zare.
So v'haisa loy, this, whatever this is, will be
Will
to
go
him.
to their
Whatever.
kids.
It will become a bris Yishalom. But what is the v'haisa? What is the it? The it is
The bris.
bris
Shalom.
Yishalom.
Right.
So Hashem says, I'm going to give you bris Shalom. That bris Shalom will manifest itself as bris kunas oilam. So let's quickly jump into some Mefarshim here. All right?
Right.
Rashi, v'haisa loy. Go ahead, read it.
Bris.
Read Rashi, v'haisa loy. Right? Bris kunas oilam.
That's okay.
Sha'afal pishik var nitna kahuna. He gets kahuna.
Zare
Okay?
shalahaden. Right. Loinas na elo lahaden levunov. Right. He didn't give it. He gave it to the rest of the nation as well.
Okay, let's see Rashi and Bris Yishalom. Rashi, Bris Yishalom.
Going back.
Yep.
The highlight of the bris shulam. Ku'udam machzak tova.
Okay, he'll always be, Rashi's saying he'll always be at peace. So,
Right,
let me go into Targum for a second, because this is the biggest part of it. Give me 1 second. Look in Targum Yonasan ben Uziel.
I have that?
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think Right here, sorry. Right on top.
Targum Yonasan ben Uziel. Go ahead, read it.
Which pasuk?
Okay,
You want to read it for Shazalik?
which pasuk?
Lochein Amaloi. Go ahead. I
I
swear, Hashem says, that Emor, he's translating the word Emor, L'chein Emor. I am saying, I'm making a shmua, go on. Yeah. I'm being geyser.
Okay, my name.
I'll always be Kayim, Shalem, always be in a state of peace. Go on. I'm going to make him into an angel. He's no longer human. This is the idealized notion of a human being. Stop for a second. He's making him, you're no longer human, you're a Malach. Now go on. V'chai la'alma. Whoa. What does it mean, V'chai la'alma?
He'll live forever.
He's not going to die. He's transformed his mortality. Do you see how this pasuk?
But it makes sense. It's continuation to
Continuation. He's a
Never-
Malach. He's not human.
Right.
Right.
It's like almost
And
like
what else? Lemivasra geulta. What does that mean? He's Eliyahu Hanavi who's going to announce Mashiach. Why do you need anyone to announce Mashiach for?
Because only a person that's a malach.
Well, what do you need to announce it for? Why announce it? Let Mashiach come. Why do you need Eliyahu? I'm sure you never asked this because you grew up as a frum guy, so you never asked the real questions. Why in the world do you need somebody to announce that Mashiach's coming?
So we should prep, I thought. I always thought that we should prep. 3 days before that, the Yidden should prepare ourselves. Again, push it, b'shat.
Push up shot.
Right, but why do we talk need...
Why? I would rephrase the question. This is a philosophical question now. Why is it mochrach that it has to be that there's an Eliyahu Hanavi?
What's Mochrach?
It's mandatory. It must be that there'll be an Eliyahu Hanavi. Why do you need anyone to announce Mashiach's coming?
Isn't that person that announces the person that, like the messenger?
The town crier. So
That person itself has to be someone special.
No, you hire a guy. In England
Yeah, but
they had
to hire a guy, you have to trust the guy, right?
So you get a good guy.
So you don't. If somebody comes tells you, "Oh, there's a good deal," and it depends who gives you the good deal, right?
What is Mashiach?
Oh, now we're going to a whole different conversation.
What is Mashiach?
Mashiach? The definition is he's going to pull you out.
What does that
From
mean?
Gulas.
Pull you out. That's when mankind reaches their perfected state. So Mashiach is when all of us reach this perfected state. So if I come to you, I say, Tully, you like Chaim Baruch? Great guy, great partner. You like Doc? Great guy. Is Doc perfect? You say, he's a good friend. Is he perfect? No, he's not perfect. How about Usha Zelig? He's a really good guy. Is he? No, he's not perfect. Eitan, nice guy, good guy. Not perfect. So you say to him, do you think that Doc will ever be perfect? You say, look, I really love the guy, but that's crazy to think of that. You ever think that Itzikel will ever be perfect? No. You go to your kid, you'll ever be perfect? No, forget, what do you tell your kids? It's okay not to be perfect. Mavale, it's okay to be ugly. It's okay not to have money. It's okay to be stupid. It's okay to make averas. It's all okay. Everything's okay. We love you anyway. Why do we tell our kids we love you anyway? Why do we tell our kids we love them anyway? Because we know they're going to mess up. Do people really believe that a human being could ever become perfect?
I believe so. I really do.
You do.
Yeah.
But
I believe if you work on yourself, you get
most
You can strive for perfection.
that you'll never fall again.
No,
It's
you-
not perfection.
Again, you can strive for perfection.
not striving.
But 1 second, but will you be perfect? No.
Okay.
But you could be perfect. No, I'm saying 100%. I know that, but you believe if you want to be perfect, you know when you do something wrong that you could do the right.
Perfect means that you'll never fall. I'm perfect.
Perfected, you'll never fall.
You'll never
Pinchas
fail.
is
Before
perfect.
Pinchas. So before Pinchas,
Right.
when
so,
we as human beings look at ourselves and our society, none of us believe that we'll ever
so
become
Pinchas basically changed the nature
the
forever.
paradigm.
So, he
So
was like,
he's the guy who has to
this
tell
is the
people.
other Brisa Shulam.
Right.
And because of that, now we know that there's a thing as perfection.
Go
and we
back
can
to
work for
Targum
that.
Yonason. Targum Yonason says as follows.
Mm-hmm.
He says, let me just pull it up. Speaker. Hold on, I gotta get this. Exit full. There we are. Okay. Lachin Emor. In a nice place, Brisi Shalom. I'm having a hard. Oh, there we go. There's my screen. Okay. Targum Yonason. V'shavua Emerle min Shmei. Ha'ana Gazle Yas Kayam Yishalem. Ba'abidna Malachim, he's going to be a Malach. And therefore he will have transformed his humanity and he'll never sin. And he'll live forever.
What's the last part? What's this?
He's going to be Mavasar the Gula. You know why? Because he's the only one, when he comes and you see Pinchas, and he says, listen, I did it. If I did it, you could do it. Otherwise, people will never really accept
Got
Mashiach.
it. Yeah.
So the purpose,
So because it's him, knowing it's him and knowing that it's possible to do. So now we got it from the right messenger. We'll have to practice.
exactly.
Got it.
So the purpose of Eliyahu Navi in Jewish theology is not just some guy coming in and saying, it's a good thing, yada yada. Everything's nice. That's not what it's about. It's not about that a guy comes with a horn on his chamar or whatever, or Mashiach's going to come on his chamar. It's not about that. It's about that we human beings can become. This is that perfect human being notion.
So up until Pinchas, nobody knew that existed.
Yeah. Let's see for a moment. Let's see Rabbeinu Bachya. You have it there? Yeah, I don't know if you have it in that chumash.
Rabbi Vachya?
In my suitcase, open up my suitcase. There's a Mekrois Gedolos. Open it up. Right side Mekrois Gedolos. There'll be a Rabbeinu Bachya there. Let me know when you got it open, and I'll read it because it's a lot of text.
Yeah. Which pasuk?
Same pasuk, pasuk
Yud
Yud
Yeah.
And you notice like Brisi Shalom?
Yeah.
Okay, Valdas HaMedrash. Okay, got it? You with me? Valdas HaMedrash?
He has here Ader Pshat.
Hineni Noiselay is Brisi Shalom. Vav Shalom
Yeah.
Diktiya, okay.
Lamdecha,
It's we learn a lesson and all, okay. Vishamati. Shamila, who nutrikin Shalem means Shaloi Lomos. Shalom, Shaloi Lomos.
It's whole.
He'll never die. V'zeh mechalik Kabbalas Rabbeinu ki Pinchas Eliyahu, we live forever. V'chein metzina ba'atzmai. Pinchas said, Kachnas nafshi medically toiv v'noich be'avoisa shemeso.
Where is he? He lives forever.
Umipnei shemayos, umipnei shemayos chaya olam hazeh, nos lechaim olam haba. V'ala b'sa'ara, Pinchas goes up in a storm to heaven. Okay, Valdas Kabbalah. He goes into Bris Yisrael. He goes into Knesset Yisrael. We're going to hold off on that. But this is just a show. If you go through the various mefarshim on Pinchas, the moment you get out of pure pshat, it follows this theme of that Pinchas becomes this heavenly human being that has conquered his self. So I want to ask you now. Let's go back.
Immortal.
He's no longer mortal. So let's go back. What is it that Pinchas did that made him that he's no longer mortal? Like what about it makes him not mortal?
He went above and beyond to do something for Hashem.
So he went above and beyond.
And what?
So what? So what?
You could break the gift and the neshama, right? If you just live with your neshama without needing a gift, that's immoral, basically.
Right.
If your neshama becomes more powerful than your gift, then you don't even need a gift anymore.
Right, but where do you see that in his
I don't
mindset?
know.
So
I'm just saying, the way I understand it.
right, you're right. You're 100% right. But where does he get that? So he killed Zimri. So he did something good.
Right, I don't have what the.
And what did that do with Kanai and Pagan by?
Because he didn't. Nothing affected his decision. The average person gets shoichet like.
His act wasn't even halacha.
He did right. I don't know what he did. I understand the concept. I understand why he got what he got and where it comes from. I don't know exactly what's the big exact.
All right, so let's jump in. Why can I not just kill somebody if I see him doing something very bad? I see somebody.
Because it's the reason why you would kill him.
Why can't I do it?
Oh, you see, that's the thing. If you
There's
kill
law.
him because it bothers you,
No, but let's say
Then-
it's wrong. Let's say it's wrong.
because it's wrong for Hashem, it's wrong for you.
I see a guy murdering somebody, and I know that the einish for murder is killing. So why can't I put him in the electrocutor? Why do I have to take him to Bezdin for? I know,
Because it's not your choice.
but I know.
But that's not the right way.
Why not?
The right way
You're,
is
you're saying that why? Why can't I just do it? What's wrong with what was his
You
name?
don't
The
know the both
vigilante
sides of the
justice
story.
guy, Kojak.
you don't know
for-
the full story.
Well, let's say I would have him there. I have the full story.
Why you can't do it?
Yeah.
You have to warn him. They have to be to aid him.
The whole
Right, you
schmear
have it all. I'm saying it
with the
right.
bagel, the whole thing. Why? Why can't you just do it? Guys, over the voters, already kill him.
Because you're still going to become a killer.
So you just said something very profound, that we human beings have law. We have a savage side and we have law. And law says that you can't act on what you think or you feel. It has to have a framework. And law controls our actions. No action is permitted
That's what he did.
without it being in the law. So now Pinchas
It was above that.
finds the one halacha where you're allowed to act without law. Kanayim Pagan by. What does it mean, Kanayim Pagan? You don't need law. To do that is very dangerous.
What is the definition of that?
Kanayim Pagan by basically means that if you care for Hashem, you could kill. He was allowed to kill Zimri. Anybody was allowed to kill Zimri.
100% for
So,
Hashem.
so why did anybody else kill Zimri?
Because they weren't up to that level.
Because it's dangerous to let your savage side run free. It's too dangerous. We always have moral restraints. You must have moral restraints. You must have a code of law by which we live. We can never live by our passions and our feelings alone. It's too dangerous to ever do that.
Correct.
So the idea that you could let your savage side run free is the opposite of Judaism usually. You can't do that. Everything that happens is within the framework of Allah, within the framework of law.
Besides for Kanui.
Besides for Kanai and Pagan by. So in this instance, there's a halacha, for whatever reason, that Kanai and Pagan by, that you can let your savage side run free. So I think no one wanted to do it, to kill Zimri, even if they thought it was right, because it's too dangerous to let yourself become savage. Like once you taste
Where do you
savagery,
draw the line?
right, you can only do it.
You know, he doesn't have a line, right?
It doesn't have a line. You can only do it if you've so refined yourself before that
should-
even your savage side is holy.
Where else you see Pinchas was so refined before?
We don't see it before, but this is where it came out.
So he was alive and kicking all this time,
All the
and this was the time where
where it came out that he was at that point where he was able to act savagely without it impacting him, because he was in his neshama was in total control of the savage side.
Correct.
It really wasn't dangerous for him.
That's why, right? Okay.
So everything we're doing in life is to really control our savage side. We have savage side. Savage side wants taiva, it wants
This is the perfection that we're working. Like
the
Tamar
perfection
says,
we're
right,
working toward.
is to make sure that our neshama has full control over our.
Exactly. The purpose of Jewish life is to ensure that your neshama is in full control of yourself.
Right. And you can get there. That's
Right. But it takes a huge amount of work.
yeah. Because
But
it's
if you
always a
work
fight,
it,
every
your
second.
neshama is in real control. We'll talk next week why people are so afraid to let their neshama have full control. They're afraid it will diminish them.
We started out today with Chaim Baruch, but he